all my swagger people out there, you're gonna want to skip this video because it's gonna be contain a lot of J words, U words, E words, and those words are really offensive. So I advise you guys to skip this one.
He was whipping up amazing foods, like making happiness. Actual happiness? Actual happiness.
For all my fellow unemployed people out there, hustle culture is basically having a job, having a side hustle, or having a bunch of all of that stuff. But we out here, we're the risk takers. We just get it. However, we don't conform to that NPC ideology. I'm gonna be honest. If I could be a chud forever, I just would. You see this? I just say, work on. Not a job inside. If y'all enjoyed the video, make sure y'all like and subscribe because I work hard on these. So
he was whipping up sadness on a screen, boiling in anguish, like actual anguish, actual despair and bitterness on a screen.
Hustle culture is the idea that productivity, working long hours, and grinding at the expense of things like personal needs or a social life, all for the sake of money, is very important. It's promoted and sold to us regular folk by guys like this.
When I was 14 years old, I was making $30K a month.
I seen in high school and I make roughly around $30,000 a month.
They're like, do you know how many people tweet hustle and work 6 hours a day? Like, I know. I know.
Slaves worked all the hours they were awake for their entire lives.
Did bro really just compare hustle culture to actual slavery? Kinda got a point though.
If you're a guy in your 20s and you don't have a Lamborghini, you should actually sit down and have like a serious discussion with yourself.
And after years of these gurus selling lies, scams, or information that you could find yourself for free, people are starting to wake up and realize that most of hustle culture is a scam. So how did society let these guys make millions off of selling a dream to the masses? Why is hustle culture so prominent in America especially, and what made Gen Z so anti-hustle culture? Well, to understand hustle culture's impact and its flaws, we have to understand why it's so big in the first place. According to BBC, the entrepreneurial boom in the 1990s and early 2000s laid the foundation for the hustle culture narrative. They note the rise of venture capital financing helped build technology titans in Silicon Valley, companies including Google and Facebook, which rocketed to dominance. These high-profile successes, famous for their intense, all-consuming work cultures, cemented Northern California as a global hub for innovation and entrepreneurship. The very public tech and .com booms made your average Joe think that they could make it as an entrepreneur if they worked hard. I mean, I'm sure we've all heard somebody say that Steve Jobs started in his garage.
If you ever get into entrepreneurship thinking you're gonna be like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, pick up a mirror.
Probably true that it is easier now than ever before to start your own business and be successful. So this inspired a lot of people to try and do so. The idea of working hard and being smart with your decisions has always been around. I mean, I just read a book called The Richest Man in Babylon with finance tips written from 1926. And even back in the 80s, Wall Street had a mantra of greed is good.
If money is evil, then that building is hell. This is the most obnoxious group of money-hungry, low IQ, high energy, jackrabbit, fucking wannabe, big time, small time, shit talking, bothersome, irritating bunch of motherfuckers I have ever had to endure for more than 5 minutes.
But hustling, working 3 jobs, grinding, thank God it's Monday, all that stuff is a little bit newer. Hustle culture ideology says that people are overworking not because they're economically driven to, but simply because this is the way go-getters get what they want. I feel like this mindset was always placed upon me by others, whether it be family or teachers, who were saying that to achieve you need to simply work harder. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like when I was in school, when they were teaching us about entrepreneurs, it was like the coolest thing, it was the best thing you could do, and it was part of the American dream. With again, Steve Jobs always being the go-to prime example. UC Riverside said, the picture of success looked like the stories of Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs.
These examples are anomalies and will never be them.
People of power and high status who threw away their social life and focused all of their attention on developing what are now multi-billion-dollar enterprises. With these stories came with them the belief that the average person could also achieve such success if they did the same. I even remember watching this show in class in 8th grade called The Men Who Built America, which was a series about like the Carnegies and the Rockefellers who were just the biggest entrepreneurs in the world. It seems like this idea is heavily ingrained in the American education system, and to be fair, it does make sense, especially for Americans. We've been hammered since we were kids with the idea of the American dream, the idea that everyone has the opportunity to achieve a better, prosperous life through hard work, determination, and initiative, regardless of where you start.
That is so not true, because even if you grind your way up as far as you want to go, no matter how much you grind, the people who are born Nepo babies from nepotism, like born with yachts and all that, they will never consider you one of them, especially if you're black. Let's just start there. If you're black, it's over. If you're not born with that, they will never see you as one of them, no matter how much you grind up. But you can grind up
and equality, but more recently has been on achieving material wealth and upward mobility. I could be reaching here a little bit, but I don't think I am, and I think that the idea of grinding until you make it to the top is an idea or a value that's been ingrained in American culture. So obviously this is nothing new, and it seems to have really taken off with millennials especially. According to Highbrow magazine, there was a time when bragging about 80-hour work weeks, side hustles that bled into early morning grind set routines, and LinkedIn posts celebrating unpaid overtime was a badge of honor. Working yourself to the bone was the golden ticket to prosperity. Millennials bought into it hard.
I worked my side hustles all weekend because the bills don't pay themselves and I honestly don't have a life. So these were all of my side hustles and how much I made doing each one.
Hustle, hustle, hustle. Sleep was sin in my household. Sin. I saw my dad asleep one time in my life.
And you can't teach hustle, folks. You either got this shit or you don't. I promise you. And I mean, I got this shit. I promise you.
Obviously, this trend has crept into the younger generation as well, and it's become a very big thing. And this isn't just an issue individuals who want to succeed as business owners face. A lot of people in the white-collar world face it too. A lady named Paige Hansen, who was interviewed about this, said, "I worked when my boss worked. No time was off limits. Everyone expects everyone to be available 24/7 because you have your cell phone and your laptop with you always. There are even studies that show that the 40-hour work week is more of a myth because people actually tend to work 47 hours a week on average, and that roughly 25% of salaried workers work 60 hours a week."
Mind you, y'all are all working these hours, and I ain't never seen y'all with no returns, no Marzella, no money spread, no nothing, like no Chrome, like y'all are working for nothing at this point.
Not getting overtime since, you know, they're salaried. And the blue collar world is obviously very difficult too. Don't worry, I'm not forgetting about you guys.
Laughing kids having ass.
For themselves.
Well, my collar's blue and my neck is red.
I'm convinced people who work like these type of jobs, their only joy in life must be their wife and kids. And then 9 times out of 10, their wife is just fan chopped.
So it's clear that everyone in every industry is encouraged to work hard and hustle. I mean, it feels like you have to get by nowadays with how pricey everything's becoming. But I think in the last decade or so, hustle culture reached its peak. There are 2 types of hustle culture in my opinion. The first is more traditional, and it encourages you to climb the corporate ladder, work hard and remain loyal to your company, and one day you'll be the CEO, or at least some big executive. But the other type encourages entrepreneurship, and I feel like this is where things get even crazier. Gary Vee is among the first people that come to mind when I think of hustle culture. Gary Vaynerchuk is a serial entrepreneur, author, and most notably, the god of hustle culture. I don't know how many times I'm going to say hustle culture in this video. I apologize. I feel like I've already said it like 50 times, so just bear with me here. Now, others have come before Gary Vee singing a similar tune, but Gary Vee's very obnoxious and brash personality captured the internet's attention in a special way. At its core, his message wasn't bad. He said that if you work hard, save your money, sell things you don't need, and grind.
Has Gary Vee ever posted a money spread? I gotta look. Gary Vee money spread.
Pooh seems to have so many money spreads. I think he's the
Richest man on planet Earth.
Y'all really out here taking advice from a guy with no designer and no money spread?
How many people they're talking shit about how big of an entrepreneur they're gonna be and how much they're gonna achieve, and they don't work on weekends. You know, I worked every Saturday of my 20s. And I talk to 20-year-old entrepreneurs every single day. Lately, I've been saying to them, this Saturday, you're gonna have more time off than I've had in my entire 20s on a Saturday. So before you tell me how you're gonna be bigger than me, start thinking about what you're actually doing.
But he's also known for being a little bit ridiculous.
My whole life is about knowing everything about 13-year-olds, but you're in the jungle with them. I have to watch from above.
What did he mean by that? I'm trying to really... I mean, it's good you're not touching them, but... why are you watching from above? I don't get it, Gary Vee. I don't get it.
Keep it man.
You're welcome, bro.
Regardless, his message is inspiring, and when he isn't saying crazy or extreme things, he may actually be making some good points. Him and others like him have inspired countless hustlers.
There was this sense that with massive effort came massive rewards. And the cool thing about that is effort is democratized. Anybody can put in effort. It wasn't about talent, it was about hard work. If you worked the hardest, you'd win.
But here's why they were so successful. A lot of what they would say was true, just mixed in with a lot of random garbage. Tai Lopez isn't wrong in saying that knowledge is an important tool in success. Obviously, you have to know what you're doing, but he doesn't tell you what to read or give you the knowledge himself. Way he can sell it to you. The most common trap you'll run into with these sorts of hustle culture gurus is that they will sell you a product, traditionally and most memeably a course. Even the rich dad poor dad guy is a certified fraud, but hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people have bought his book.
My mom is what got me onto his book. The year after I read his book, it came out that he was a scammer.
The first step is that we have to cut all costs so that we can take more risk. When I say all costs, I mean all costs. That means you don't eat out anymore for anything. And if you're hungry, you deal with it. And if it's not from a discount grocery store, you don't buy it. Clothing, like what you have right now on your back is everything you need for the next 2 years.
That only goes for me because what this saying. All right, I'm gonna stop. That's what I'm not gonna flex it anymore. That was my last flex, okay?
No exceptions, just keep reusing it. Trade or go to Goodwill.
Like this right here isn't that crazy. Saving money, especially when you don't have much, is a good practice. But then he'll say things like this.
I'm gonna break the myth in this video that you need to go make $1 million and that you need money to make money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 different ways that you can make $1 million for little or zero money down. The next one is that you can get people to give you their businesses for no money down.
I kid you not, I saw this video in 2023. 2023, I saw this exact video. And I tried to ask business owners for their businesses for free, especially if they're shutting down. Don't waste your time.
Different information businesses into one business, and they were all small businesses. They were all doing about $1 million-ish a year. I get small as relative, but
what a lie! What a liar!
And so he combined them all to be a $4 million top line, $1.5 million bottom line business for no money out of pocket.
Say swear.
Hey, I know you don't want to do this business anymore. Just give it to me and I'll pay you the income that you were going to make for this business for the next 2 years. And they said, sure. And so he combined all those businesses together, and then overnight, he owned an asset that was doing $1.5 million a year in profit and $4 million in top line. And it cost him nothing to do it.
I remember watching this video a while ago and being really annoyed because his advice isn't inherently bad. Like, the ideas themselves aren't horrible, but they're all super vague and realistically unachievable for your average person. The hustle gurus all sell you a dream that it's actually not all that hard to make a ton of money. All you need is the knowledge, which is available if you click his link in the description and buy his course or his book or whatever else it is. That's how these guys really make their money. It's not because they're some insane entrepreneurs.
Surprise, surprise.
The basic core advice that they give is solid, and the mindset they suggest is alright, but it's just vague enough and just flashy enough to get you, the viewer, to buy into it. Once you get a little deeper down the hustle culture pipeline, past the more motivational stuff, you get to the even more extreme people. Of course, there's Andrew Tate, who sold his Hustlers University, which was like $50 a month where you could learn that you were brainwashed, but I don't think we need to go too deep into him and his scandals. That's all too obvious.
You're a guy in your 20s and you don't have a Lamborghini, you should actually sit down and have like a serious discussion with yourself.
As a guy in your 20s, your only goal should be having designer.
As now that it's so incredibly easy and there's so much money out there, and 200 grand relative to what is out there in circulation and what you can grab, especially now with AI tools that you can leverage like never before, 200 grand is chump change. And people will say I'm out of touch with reality, and they can suck it because it's just not true.
And I really don't like this guy. I used to get so many of his TikToks on my feed, and he's the most blatant example of, I rented this Lambo with my dad's money until enough people fell for it and bought my course, and I could eventually buy my own. And the reason I know that people do this is because I'm familiar with YouTube gurus who have told me they've rented penthouses and cars so that they could exaggerate their wealth and then sell courses on how you could do it yourself too if you start a YouTube channel. There are lots of different methods that people like this will promise to teach you. Day trading. You just buy stocks low and sell them high. Boom, you're rich. Drop shipping. You just make a website, find a cheap supplier in China, and mark up the prices without ever having to risk buying inventory. Faceless YouTube channels. Use AI to make a bunch bunch of shitty YouTube channels at once that will bring in tons of money. And trust me, there are plenty of methods that these people will promote.
It's a weird feeling because we're 22, 23, and we're making what people make every single year, every single day.
The next person that tries to sell me their course, I'm gonna take the information, I'm gonna put
He was whipping up wrath and evilness in the kettle. Actual wrath. Actual evilness and wrath in the kettle.
There's also a big link between these types of people and the ones who say you need to wake up at 5 a.m. like the red pill type of people. These are the guys that watched Wolf of Wall Street and American Psycho and decided to make it their entire personality.
Yo, do y'all all have that bedtime thing? Like, do we all like fall for the hustle culture? I'm looking for the bedtime thing, and this is my screen time, by the way. This is 9 hours. Let's see the previous week. This is last week. This is the week before that. The week before that is we all had this thing that like at like 8 o'clock, like it goes off and say, "Oh, almost time for bed at 10," because we all promised ourselves that we're gonna lock in and go to bed early. All my friends have it, and like I see on their phones all the time, and I just laugh to myself quietly because I also have it. And since I have it, you have it. So don't lie and say you don't.
Everything I've covered in this video, aside from maybe the more memey stuff or the more extreme stuff, always used to inspire me. Growing up and hearing about entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs and gurus talking about making millions always pushed me to want to do that myself. I even bought a dropshipping course when I was 16. As you'll notice from my sneaker video and this one, I was a little bit of a sucker growing up. But I also was infatuated with learning how to escape the matrix, as many people will say.
I think everyone feels this way, and I'm not saying we should overthrow the people who run the world or anything, because, you know, it's like, how many of us? 7 billion of us? I'm not saying we should do that, but I think we should just stop doing that. We should just complain about our problems privately.
Want to, like any other human does, live their lives, enjoy their time with family and friends, travel the world, and things like that. No one wants to work until you're 65 and then think about taking a vacation every now and then. The deep despair that people feel about the work culture we've created is what makes hustle culture so appealing. It's an opportunity to live life on your own terms. And that is what has always fascinated me about entrepreneurship, and that's why I bought that dropshipping course when I was 15. And it's probably why so many others fall for these gurus and their scams. But are these gurus really scammers? Or are all the hustle culture influencers and promoters out there really trying to just help us? I think that the idea of working hard and making smarter choices with your career or your finances and being successful are all good values, and I think it promotes a healthy lifestyle and goals. But what I don't like about hustle culture is when people take the idea of working hard and succeeding and then flip it into a you need to work 24/7, you're lazy and pathetic if you don't, money is all that matters, cut off family and friends if they don't understand, and by the way, it's actually really easy to get rich, just buy my $100 course. Like we've seen throughout this video, the hustle culture gurus will bait you in with their amazing promises and vague knowledge bombs just so you buy their course, books, or other products. Even with just watching their content regularly, you're helping them to make money. Someone said, the sad thing is, hustle culture was a positive thing. It originally meant hustle so that you can work your dream job or career. Be comfortable financially, not necessarily rich, be kind to yourself, treat your body right, etc. Now hustle culture has become this weird toxic mess. The original poster responded saying, we went from work hard, play hard to an endless cycle of work even harder, maybe play later, but not really. But it's very clear that companies and rich people are taking advantage of hustle culture as Soviet-era propaganda, which promoted impossible seeming feats of worker productivity to motivate the labor force. Today's messages glorify personal profit, even if bosses and investors, not workers, are the ones capturing most of the gains. But it's not all bad. I think people at the very least are waking up to and turning against hustle culture. Gen Z in particular, or the younger generations in general, are so against hustle culture for a few reasons. First of all, after being inundated with these hustle influencers for so long and seeing the funnel always lead you to a $50 course, I think people realize that truly wealthy people don't need to make content about it or sell you a course. Why would they give away free game if they were so successful? In most cases, we realized that these people weren't genuinely concerned for us doing well, but instead wanted to profit from us. Well, I mean, not everyone realizes this. Some people are still pretty desperate or gullible.
Now that we really understand what hustle culture is, who wants to rise and grind for some design? I don't buy courses, and I myself have a course. If you guys want me to drop the course, 5 likes. and I dropped the chorus.